specifically for gay couples, is opening next week. Natalie Drew and Aisling Phillips from Sutton Coldfield have 2 children from a sperm donor and now want to help other gay couples who want to have their own children. They set up a website a few years ago offering advice, but say because of the demand, they're now opening the Gay Family Web Fertility Centre in Birmingham. We can talk to Natalie Drew now. Good morning.
Yes.
Hello, Natalie.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. So tell us what your clinic will offer that isn't currently available.
We'll offer one-to-one support and advice as to where people should go next, really, when they're looking to start a family. We'll also be doing blood tests, testing for STIs and fertility count, that sort of thing.
And is that kind of stuff's already available, isn't it?
Well, it is, but what's happening is that people are being misinformed, and so they end up paying more than they need to for starting their family.
So what's your motivation? What's motivated you and your partner to do this?
Well, we had when we tried for Gianna, we had to pay it. We paid a clinic for the information, and then when we tried for Kai, we had trouble conceiving. Like Ash had trouble conceiving. We visited the GP, and he hadn't got a clue where we should go next. And so that's when we realised that there must be a service out there that helps offers advice for gay couples. And we realised there wasn't. And then more and more we hear these stories of people approaching us and saying, well, they've had the same problems. They haven't been able to get the right support and advice they needed.
Right. When you say you had to pay for information before conceiving Gianna, I mean, you'll be charging people, presumably, as well?
Well, what we'll be doing in the centre is we'll do an initial consultation, find out what their needs are, and then find out what sort of donor they're looking for, and try and match them to a donor on our database. And then they arrange between themselves then what route they want to take, whether it's a home insemination route or if they need to go to a clinic for it.
Yeah. And how much will that cost people?
Well, the initial consultation with us is £100.
Okay.
And that's like an hour and in that hour we'll do blood tests as well.
Is that the kind of market rate at the moment? Is that the going rate?
I think it's more than that, to be honest. From the different centres we've approached for services.
So, sorry to interrupt, Natalie, sorry. So, you said other people had approached you for bits of information. Do you think there is quite a big demand from gay couples for this kind of support and help?
Yeah, I mean, last year we attended the Alternative Family Show in London, and we were inundated with inquiries from couples that needed more advice and didn't know where to go to find it.
What other sort of obstacles did you encounter as you were trying to conceive?
Just really that when we approached the clinic, I was just completely excluded from the equation because obviously I wasn't a man, and I was just seen as Ash's friend rather than Ash's partner.
Right.
And they were all they kept asking for was if the donor could come in, could he come in, could they test his sperm? And we said, look, there's no fertility issues there because we've already conceived with him once before.
Right.
And so, it just, like I said, it was just completely between Ash and the donor, and there was no allowance for me being anywhere in that equation.
So you felt alienated in a way? Yeah,
really alienated, yeah.
So, you think there's demand nationally then, clearly?
Yeah, I mean, from like I say, from the different events we've visited last year, we're meeting couples, and they're saying, well, we don't know where to go, we don't know what to do. Can you advise us? Can you help us further? Is there anywhere we can get the service? And that's why we were deciding to open the offices, and then at least people can come to us rather than just having to wait for an event that we're covering.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be a lot of controversy around the fact that you're opening up this clinic?
Well, there seems to be. I think it's because people have perceived it that we will only help gay couples, and obviously we've helped already 2 ladies this year to find surrogates that are in a straight relationship, and then we've got probably 5 or 6 straight couples that are on our website now that we're helping match up with sperm donors.
Right. Have you had many objections from people who think that children actually really need a mum and dad rather than 2 mums or 2 dads?
Well, I the thing is that society is made up at the minute of so many dysfunctional families, and families that don't work, that, if we've got two loving parents putting into one child, that's got to be good for the child.
How old is your little girl?
She's 5.
And how old's your little boy?
2.
And how are they? How do they? Do they say anything? Does Gianna say anything about having 2 mums, or not really?
Well, she spoke about it at school, and she's done it in show and tell, and all the other kids think it's great that she's got 2 mums. But she also we have contact with our donor, so the children have got regular access to their dad.
Okay, so, and how does that work out?
Well, it works out well, because then at least if anybody ever said to them that they haven't got a dad, then they can come back with that they have got a dad, and they know who their dad is, and that they do have contacts and pictures and days out with him. So
did you know him, or did you find him through a website, or?
We didn't know him to start with. We paid a company to find us a donor,
right?
And they came back with our donor. And then we made arrangements with him ourselves to keep in touch and then to carry on and have the second child.
Yeah. And how does he find the relationship?
Well, it just seems to work so well, because obviously we're all there for the children and for the best interests of the children. So he hasn't got any responsibility, but he can see them whenever he wants to when he's around.
Right.
We're open to us all meeting up.
So just to be clear, you would help heterosexual couples as well, but your priority is people in same-sex relationships, really?
Yeah, it is our priority, obviously, because we know from our own personal experiences and from talking to other couples that there is an area that there's a lack of information and advice. So that would be our main one, but obviously because there is a national shortage of sperm donors, we're quite happy to help straight couples as well, because we know they're going through these problems.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Natalie.
Okay.
Natalie Drew, who, with her partner Aisling, is going to open the Gay Family Web Fertility Centre in Birmingham next week. This is 5 Live. It's nearly 5 to 12, and here is Richard Bacon.
Hello.